Yeah, Paladin was very funny.
Oh, rip.
Bit of a rip. Just skimming through your Paladin notes, they're quite funny.
Oh, yeah.
Rat Paladin starts with lol lamau.
Yeah.
No spell warding.
Yeah.
Divine Steeds. Bit shit now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dire.
Paladins don't seem to be thrilled.
No, Rat Paladin, and not all of this because they're bad to play. A lot of it is just because you feel unloved. You look at the class tree and you're just like, I'm annoyed and I don't know why. And then you play Shaman and go, I know why I was annoyed. Because I don't have any choices. Or all of my throughputs in my tree instead of actually really cool utility. Or why am I picking up things I already have when everyone else got cool stuff that's new? And like, well, where's my divine intervention? It's like, you've got Bop, you're fine. It's like, why they don't give spell warding to Ret? It's like, here's a battle res. You're like, that's useful, that's great, but that's like, that's a tick box in like a battle res is a ticked box in a spreadsheet of utility.
Do you think they're already broadly happy with Paladin, but felt they needed to tone one or two things down, and maybe didn't appreciate how, in the light of good treatment for some other classes, how it would just feel a bit left behind?
Yes.
Like, I suppose there's only so much time that they've got, and you could probably say there were things in need of triage, unlike Paladin.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Where if this was a resource allocation problem, they probably made the right choice, or almost made the right choice. But there's a little bit of class tree stuff and a little bit of unloved and a little bit of balance. It's just like, there's no reason to have them feel quite this. It's literally quite this unloved. Like, even maybe they just thought, well, we think the divine steed's duration was a little bit excessive towards the end of Shadowlands. And then they go, here's a talent that gives it 1 second duration. You're like, 100% for 4 seconds? Sorry? How long does sprint last on rogues who also have shadow step and it also has a 1 minute cooldown? What are you smoking? Also, I love grappling hook as well. You're like,
God,
why are like, and especially because they press 2 talents. They have 2 talent points to spend to get Divine Steed to 1 second duration and 2 charges. Over at DK, they spend 1 point to get, I think it's like 25% extra move speed for like the first 3 seconds or something on Death's Advance, and I think something else. So they spend less talent points to get a better movement cooldown, and they also have access to Wraithwalk later in the train. You're like, Death Knights move faster than Paladins? Yeah. Sorry, which one of us gets on a horse in combat? And it's like, that horse needs some cardio, I tell you. Like, that shit lasts 4 seconds. You're like, what is going on? It's really frustrating how it's unfinished, right? Rat Paladins had Rat had some nice additions, but none of them feel balanced enough or like combined enough to work.
All right, so this new Consecrate playstyle not doing it for you?
Not really doing it compared to existing stuff, because it's like, well, just spam Divine Storm. It's like, there's no real playing around it. I don't think Exorcism's like strong enough generally to warrant like, and there's no way to play around it. It's just press the button, and like it's still like it's still simple like first come first serve rotation. And you're like, that's sad. That's sad. They needed a little bit more love. Not that they're broken, just need more love. Their class tree is probably considered broken in a way that's really frustrating. And then you go to like Holy, and then you go to Holy and you go to Prot, and they kind of suffer from the same thing of resource generation feels really weird. For Prot, not having Avenger Shield give Holy Power is a change that's like, was it a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down? That's a medicine change, and they didn't add any sugar. It's just, sorry, we needed you to have less Shield of the Righteous uptime. Could have nerfed Shield of the Righteous in some capacity or something. Instead, they're like, no, we just don't get Holy Power for Avenger Shield. They're like, but you get more Holy Power with Blessed Hammer on average, because you can throw that a lot nicer and you can get that out of combat and stuff. And you're like, still throwing Avenger Shield and not being able to press Shield of the Righteous after feels bad as hell. And that's the thing that's like, that's an adaptation from Shadowlands. It's just going to suck.
Yeah, because the current Avenger Shield was designed with Holy Power. That's how people played with it. So not having it suddenly will feel bad. They
do have a whole bunch of like cool new talents and a lot of stuff, like the return of like the Exploding Avenger Shield. They've got like it's not Tear's Deliverance, that's the Holy one. The Eye of Tear back, which is a nice little ability. like a pretty decent uptime on damage reduction. So there's some nice stuff in there, but generally just like this, it's fundamentally the Paladin class tree does not feel good to make decisions in, and almost none of the spec trees feel good to make decisions in. And that's one of the problems. We're like, that just kind of sucks. That just really feels awfully bad. And then prot being, and they could fix this, but prot being impacted disproportionately by the healing nerf because of Word of Glory. You're like, cool, thanks. Cool, thanks. And then obviously, like the Frankenberry points out, they made it so Avenging Wrath can be an actual tank CD, which is nice, where you can add Sentinel to it, which gives you a big stack of damage reduction that goes down over time, which is pretty nice. But that's like one of the damage versus tanking choices. So there's some good decisions, but just a little bit of yikes. Which is also interesting because they announced in the live letter to NF14, they announced that they're going to make substantial changes to Paladin. Paladin tanks, so Paladin generally not a good spot across across the MMO world at the minute. And then Holy is just, I don't even know where to begin. Mana costs are scuffed with their damage costing way more mana than other healers' damage because because it also gives holy power, which is part of healing.
You'd have thought that would have been tweaked back to being.
It was tweaked. They made them more expensive.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, that's the thing.
That's a bit of balance, like, right? That's the balance. That's the balance problem that they continually run into. And of Dusk and Dawn, I think people are kind of mixed on that as a play style, but it's like really strong and it's right down. So like some of the multi-role classes have their class tree design, so it's left is healer, middle is sort of whatever, right is like damage or tank. Paladin's very much right is damage, left is heal, middle is tank, because you get kind of both. But you go down the left and of Dusk and Dawn's at the bottom, you're like, I really like having 3 holy power, needing to heal someone, but instead needing to go to 5 holy power to proc the 5 holy power part of Dusk and Dawn, and then dump it, so I'm left wondering, do I heal this person who's like getting low, or do I build holy power? And that seems like it might be a pretty compelling choice, but it feels like a bad one because of Dusk and Dawn feels like maintenance instead of a bonus. And that's the weird thing, where if it felt like a bonus, say maybe it procced once every 30 seconds and was a bit stronger, then it would feel like a bonus. But now it feels a bit like maintenance. And then you go, well, do I maintain my buff or do I let it drop? And oh shit. Then the fact that like the casting playstyle sort of existing is nice. Their mastery still being melee unfriendly technically is a bit weird. Where it's like, just change it to make it feel nicer. Like, well, I don't understand the problem. I don't understand why it's not changed. Obviously it's like because they have to mathematically recalculate because it's so important. It's like, just figure it out, for fuck's sake.
I don't like that mastery at all.
Yeah, it's like rule of law makes it like a fairly compelling enough thing, but it just kind of feels a little bit punishing. You're like, there's probably a way to make that more fun. I think it's interesting, but it could be more fun. And then what's the other point? Yeah, the fact that it's like most people are finding it more efficient to like heal beacons instead of people who need healing to get holy power. So it's more efficient to cast a spell on someone who's full health and then use a different spell after.
Oh, with the holy power to heal the person you're intending to heal.
That's more efficient. People are finding. I don't know if that's still true, but I remember seeing that and just been like, oh, that's interesting. That's a strange balance problem. People are just dropping Flash of Light on a beacon or Holy Light on a beacon to get the 2 with infusion, just to get the holy power to cast a Light of Dawn or a Word of Glory. Like, that feels like an interesting oversight. Maybe you need to rework Beacon, even though Beacon's really fundamental, and that's the problem. It's like, Beacon's really fundamental and cool. How do you remove it? It's very interesting.